Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we're doing another boss ranking. This is the Metroid Dread bosses ranked from easiest to hardest. Now before I talk for too long, let's get on to the list. Keep in mind that this list is my personal opinion, so if you have anything to say, put it in the comments, and please be civil about it. With that out of the way, let's get on to the video. Drogyga starts off the fight by launching two tentacles, which are pretty easy to dodge. After that, Drogyga makes two blue orbs and one red orb. The blue orbs give health and missiles back, and all you have to do is shoot at the tentacle stuck at the top. After that, you hit the green fiend, make it red, grapple up, hit the other green fiend, and make it red, and after that, you hit Drogyga with missiles, bringing it to the next phase. Tentacle stab is pretty easy to dodge, all you have to do is grapple. And after all of that, hit it with missiles, and Drogyga's gone. The reason why I put it at number 11 is because it's really easy. Everything's telegraphed, everything's predictable, and even the heart attack, you can just grapple out of the way. So that's why it's the easiest boss in Metroid Dread. Now there is one final attack with two red orbs and one blue orb, but I defeated this boss so fast that I didn't even get it in recording, and it's just a really easy boss in general, and that's why it's at the bottom. The central unit has two main attacks. Rings, which you can easily dodge and shoot with missiles to regain health and missiles back, and the lasers, which all you have to do is dodge and just keep hitting it with missiles, and then it gets on to the second phase. The reason why this boss is harder than Drogyga is because you actually have to move around, but shoot it with missiles and it's down in less than a minute. It's still a really easy boss. Even if you get hit a bunch, you're not gonna die because you have a lot of opportunity to move. Corpius will start out by shooting at a ball, and the hitbox does linger, so if it's still there, move out of the way and wait until it disappears. Corpius will do two attacks with his tail. The first one is a tail swipe, which all you have to do is jump over it, and the second one is a tail stab. All you have to do is get close to Corpius, and they're really easy to dodge, just they can last a while if you're not careful. If you're behind Corpius's tail stab, then you might get hit, but it's still really easy. All you have to do is shoot Corpius with missiles, and then the second phase goes on. In the second phase, Corpius is invisible, but you can easily see the weak spot, so shoot it with missiles, and you go on to the third phase. It's that easy. Now, this is the hardest phase in my opinion, but calling it hard is an overstatement that's really, really big. The phase starts with Corpius making poisonous breath that sticks to the floor, but all you have to do is get on the blue walls and just damage Corpius. If you stick to the blue wall just like how I did, Corpius will stab it, which leaves it open to hitting its weak spot with missiles. If you hit the weak spot enough times, Corpius will go uninvisible, and then you can slide under Corpius, which leads to the coolest counter segment in this entire game. But still, this boss is pretty easy, being at number 9. The robot Chozo soldier is still pretty easy, but let's get on to its attacks. When it has a red arm, it charges up and then tries to hit you. This does damage, and the hitbox is really big. When it charges up a blue orb in its hand, it shoots one blue beam. It will then shoot 3 blue orbs, which are pretty easy to dodge. If its arm is blue, that means it's charging up an attack and you can counter it. There's one move in this game that easily cheeses the boss to be this easy: the flash shift. Because the flash shift basically teleports you, that is the only move you need to dodge all of this guy's attacks. Because you can cheese this boss with the flash shift, that's why it's at number 8, but it is harder than the previous bosses on this list. But overall, if you pay attention, this boss is a piece of cake. Escue has an electric field that does protect him from all melee attacks. Escue shoots out little black holes, which all you have to do is dodge them by jumping. And the attack that puts him up here, the bullet hell. This attack is really hard to dodge, usually requiring both of your jumps and a wall jump and sometimes a flash shift, but if you can dodge it, then you can dodge it pretty consistently. The boss has an attack where it charges at you, but it's pretty easy to dodge. All you have to do is move out of the way. After hitting it with missiles, it then turns into a big X-Parasite, and if you hit it with missiles, it shoots out little X-Parasites, which you can use to regain your health. Overall, it's still a really easy boss compared to everything else in this game. Kraid starts the fight by barfing out balls and fireballs, which you can shoot to regain health and missiles. Overall, this attack is pretty easy. Kraid will then shoot out his fingernails. The left nails, all you have to do is jump over them. With the right nails, you have to slide under them, but you can shoot them to regain missiles and health, just like the barf balls. The second phase starts with Kraid shooting a pink ball out of its gut, which then goes into two smaller waves, which all you have to do is jump over them. Kraid will then shoot out 3 spikes, and all you have to do is duck under them. You can shoot little balls, but all you have to do is shoot them when they touch the ground, and it will give you health and missiles back. If you damage Kraid's gut enough, you can then climb a blue wall and shoot it with missiles, being able to lower Kraid's HP. If you shoot him and Kraid tries to slap you away, you can then counter it and go into one of the coolest counter segments in the game, and then normally this is where the boss fight will end, but overall it's still not that bad. The reason why I put this boss higher than all the other bosses that I think are easy is because this boss has a lot more attacks that do damage, and the attacks are harder to dodge, and overall, Kraid is just harder than all the bosses below it. Pretty much everything that was said about the single robot Chozo can be said about the twin robot Chozos, but I'll still talk about some important things here. The boss fight is harder because there are 2 robot Chozo soldiers. Now, sometimes you can get wobbled, comboed, and sometimes stuck by the hitbox of the soldiers. I never really found it when I was going against the boss, but I did get comboed every now and then, so make sure to watch out for when both of them are close to each other. But just like the single soldier, keep shooting missiles and keep flash shifting, and this boss will be down in no time. This boss is actually pretty hard if you don't know the right techniques, so let's get into those techniques. When Golzuna turns red, that means it is going to attack, and you can slide under it and it's pretty easy to dodge. Also, storm missiles cheese this boss heavily, so make sure to use those if you can. When Golzuna does the dot that homes on you, all you have to do is bait it out, which is pretty easy to do if you know what you are doing. Golzuna then does another dot attack, but it is also pretty easy to dodge. When Golzuna does its other dot attack, all you have to do is do the same thing I mentioned as last time. What you have to do is jump, time your spin jump to jump again, and then do your 2 flash shifts. The timing may sound tricky, but it isn't that bad to do. But in the end, while this boss is a step up from all the others, it's still pretty easy if you know what to do. Z57 starts the fight with trying to hit you, where you can easily see where the attack is going thanks to the blue line. Z57 will then breathe a substance, and the safe spots are either at the end of the arena or at the middle of the arena. When Z57 goes to one side of the arena, it will then breathe the substance. All you have to do is get close to it and then flash shift to dodge out of the way. When Z57 gets to its second phase, all you have to do is hit its yellow parts with storm missiles, and while it's difficult to do at first, with learning, this does become pretty easy. After doing all of that, Z57 makes you play Flappy Bird, and all you have to do is dodge the pink waves. These are pretty easy, but it can be a little difficult to get used to since it is different from a lot of the bosses in this game. After that, Z57 gets a new slash attack, and you have to go to the top of the arena to dodge it. While this boss is harder than all the other ones before it, if you know what to do, it isn't that bad to defeat. The soldier has a shield which protects it from most attacks. When it jumps to a wall, it will then go to your position, but you can just flash shift out of the way. When the soldier spins its spear, all you have to do is jump out of the way. The first phase is pretty easy all around, but the second phase is both hard and annoying. But once you learn it, it isn't that big of a deal. When the soldier breathes the black goo, what you want to do is jump to try to bait it out. This doesn't work 100% of the time, but it should work most of the time if you are careful. The soldier will then spawn 2 waves when it goes in the middle, and they are pretty easy to dodge if you just keep jumping. After it takes enough damage, all you have to do is counter it twice, and then the boss is done. The reason why it's so high is because of that black goop attack, but also because this boss took me 30 tries when I did it on my first playthrough, but now that I know better, it's not that bad. So if you learn, this boss actually isn't that bad. It's just pretty easy from there if you know how to deal with the black goop attack. Starting off the fight is Beak's black hole. When he does this, you can just shoot it with missiles, and it will give you health and missiles back. When Beak shoots upward, get close to him, and then flash shift. There's this one attack which all you have to do is duck under it, and then go into a counter segment, and it's pretty easy to do. He then will dash to you, and it's pretty easy to dodge, but if you get hit, it punishes you hard. If he raises his hand to you, counter him, and then when a cutscene happens, counter him again. If you do this 2 times in a row successfully, you'll then go on to the second phase, which I will talk about now. When Beak tries to fall down fast, you have to flash shift. And when he goes headfirst into a wall, just use the morph ball. When Beak points his gun at you, he'll then shoot rapidly, and this is where you use your spin jump and flash shift. When he charges up a beam, it's easy to dodge, but does a lot of damage if you mess up. When you shoot Beak with enough missiles, he then goes to his third phase, which in my opinion is the hardest out of all the phases. Beak still has that charge attack, but this time it's on the ground. And then Beak casually summons the sun, which all you have to do is just use the power bomb to kill it. He can then teleport to your position, but you can just easily bait this out. If you don't have a power bomb to kill the sun, then it will become pretty hard to dodge, but if you just bait out Beak's attacks, then it should be pretty easy still. But if you shoot him with enough missiles and then do a counter segment, Beak goes down and dies in a cutscene. And that is the boss ranking. Overall, when you learn these bosses, they aren't that big of a deal. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time in the next video. That won't be a boss ranking, so it's something actually original. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.